Every council in England has signed up to a government scheme offering extra funding to help so-called troubled families turn their lives around. Local authorities will only get the money if they reduce a family's level of truancy, antisocial behaviour or benefit dependency. Here's Mike Sargent.
A relatively small number of families are responsible for a big share of social problems. The children play truant from school, their parents live on benefits and are often in trouble with the police. Ministers say these so-called troubled families drain billions of pounds from public expenditure. Visiting a family intervention centre in South London today, the Communities Secretary Eric Pickles said it was time to stop making excuses for people. By targeting these families directly, ministers believe they can save money for the taxpayer.
We have to understand that we can help these families, but they have to take responsibility themselves, and they aren't victims of the system. They have it within themselves to make a better life for themselves.
In this part of London, last summer's riots gave the issue new focus. Were the rioters all from such families? If so, how could the problem be tackled? The government's answer was to offer financial incentives. Local authorities will be given extra money if they can reduce the level of truancy in a family, cut their antisocial behaviour and make them less dependent on benefits. Every eligible council in England has now signed up to the scheme.
Many councils are already setting up special units like this one in Wandsworth to bring together all the various agencies that currently shoulder the huge expense of dealing with troubled families. But at a time of significant budget cuts, there are questions about how much money will be available for this type of work.
Local authorities need funding to make this happen, and all the government is doing today is giving back to local councils some of the money that they've taken away from them. This work needs the right support because it's about hard graft, getting into those homes, working with the families and supporting them.
Since this coalition was formed, a lot of our energies have been directed, rightly, at strengthening our economy. But as I've always argued, we need a social recovery in Britain every bit as much as we need an economic one. So while the government's immediate duty is to deal with the budget deficit, which we talk about a lot, I know, my mission in politics, the thing I'm really passionate about, is actually fixing the responsibility deficit. That's the deficit I care about most. Now that means building a stronger society in which more people understand their obligations and more people take control over their lives and their actions. So today I can announce the financial firepower that we are putting behind this task. We are committing 448 million, almost £500 million, to turning around the lives of these 120,000 troubled families by the end of this Parliament. This immense task will take new ways of thinking, it will take committed local action, it will take flexibility and huge perseverance. People in troubled families aren't worthless, nor are they programmed to fail. I will not allow them to be written off. So let us get out there, help them turn their lives around and heal the scars of a broken society.
In relation to troubled families, how do you help them?
What we tend to do is we referred families who meet our criteria. So one of the criteria would be antisocial behaviour from the children within the household. Another criteria would be one or both parents out of work. And the third major criteria that we work to is children out of school for less than 85%. So if a family in Maidenhead or Windsor actually has three of these, meets three of this criteria, we then agree to go and work with this family and see if we can get the children into full-time education, get them turning up to school on time and engaging in education, and try and stop any antisocial behaviour on the streets, get the children into activities, or find out what's going on for them, why they're getting into trouble, and help the parents get back into work.
Why do you think troubled families need the help from your organisation?
I think that a lot of families don't know the services that are out there. So, for example, if a family's in a lot of debt and they keep finding that they're in trouble all the time because they haven't got enough money to pay for you know, the bills, the heating and electricity, we'll put them in touch with maybe family and friends who will help them to sort out their debt and be able to then live within their means from there on. Other agencies we can point them to for directions for education and all sorts of agencies within the borough that the family may not be aware of. So we'll go in and say, look, we can help you do this, the Triple P parenting course to help them parent more effectively. And so we sort of signpost them and guide them and help them to access these services which they may not do were we not involved with them.
And in Maidenhead, what do you think is the most common issues regarding these families?
Well, there's lots of issues. A lot of the problems stem from poverty. There's a lot of people living on a very low budget, and sometimes through no fault of their own. Also, with the children, there's a lot of statemented children who have things like ADHD, and so they find it very difficult to cope with school and with the curriculum at school. So there's all sorts of problems in all sorts of different areas.
The local authorities who I believe will really step forward and engage in this programme, because if politics is about making a difference to people's lives and making a difference to the state and stability and social wealth of our country, and to me that's what politics is about, this is what it's really about. Thank you very much.